Welcome back, my friends. My name is Eric. This is Rome, and we're back with some Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader. I'm recording this on launch day. 10 minutes ago, the launch trailer dropped on YouTube. It's been available for early access for some streamers already. I know I saw at least episode 24 by Co Carnage was out. I watched his character creation video last night. So we're gonna jump into it today. Now we obviously played a fair bit of this in the initial beta, and we played a little bit through the beginning of kind of the first chapter in the second beta. I didn't go super deep into it, partly just real life intervened and I had other things going on. But we got nothing going on right now, at least for a little bit. I'm going to be gone for about 3 weeks, I think, over Christmas. I guess I could turn the camera on. I was worried there was going to be a cinematic at the beginning, and so I turned off the camera in case we had some great cinematic. I will be gone for Christmas for about 3 weeks, from probably December 20th to January 7th-ish, I think. So we're going to have a few episodes up, obviously, before that. I'll try to have some episodes to kind of stretch us through. We'll kind of see how that goes, and we'll continue when I come back. But yeah, let's go ahead. We could continue, I guess. We're going to go for a new game. I have an idea. I kind of am thinking about maybe a Death World Psyker operative, kind of a melee operative. I think the only thing kind of close to that is maybe the Eldar character we picked up in Chapter 2. Obviously, we've got the Seneschal, and he's melee. He's a Vanguard, more of a melee tank. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But it might be good. It might be interesting to pair the two of them together, where he can go up, do some of his tanky Vanguard stuff, and then the main character just absolutely destroys stuff, right? And we might be stretched too thin with that, right? I don't know. We're gonna find out. All right, main story. Take up the mantle of Rogue Trader, the scion of an ancient dynasty of daring privateers that reign over the Trade Protectorate and explore the fringes of the known galaxy. Darkness looms over the bloodline of the Von Valencius as it faces multiple threats from within its own ranks and without, as countless enemies seek to destroy the most daring and brave agents of humanity. It is up to you to hold the reins of the shattered Protectorate and forge a new path for the Von Valencius dynasty, currently finding itself in a vortex of wars, intrigues, calamities, and heresy. The stakes are high and rise ever higher as you cross paths with terrifyingly powerful and ambitious adversaries in the darkness of the Coronis Expanse. So I had some thought. I had a few characters we talked about last time. I'd love to do just like a super religious, hardcore, conservative, maybe priest character or commissar character. I'd love to do just a flat-out rogue character, just somebody who's all in it for the underworld crime and trading. This, I guess, is going to be more of a heresy character. Maybe if we go this route, maybe we'll lean into aliens, maybe we'll lean into psychers. We'll see how that goes. I'm just going to put us on normal. I'm not going to mess with anything. We've got custom story, normal, daring, hard, and unfair. I'll kind of scroll down so you can see kind of what some of the effects are if you would like to change some of these yourself. But I think, while I think I could probably handle a harder level, as far as the base tactical stuff goes, I don't know what ship combat is like now. We didn't get to it at all in the second beta. It was really rough in the first beta, mostly because you couldn't upgrade your ship. So you're deeper in the game, you were fighting tougher enemies, but your ship was always level 1, right? More or less. So we'll see. So I'm going to leave this as it is for now. Oh, I do need to come up with a name, huh? So they've given us a few pre-made characters here. A soldier, an operative, and a warrior. All right, we're going to go with a custom character. I thought I had a name. I didn't even think about it because I thought I had something, but now that I do think about it, I don't think I have anything. We'll have to think about it as we go. So let's go ahead and we're hit new character. Let me find a coin here. We've got a nickel. All right. Heads. Female. Male will be tails. I don't know if you can see that or not. Will it focus? It's tails is what it is. The head is back on that side. So, male character it is. All right. So let's see what we got going on. All right. He looks pretty cool. He looks more Forge World, right? We've got the cybernetic arm. I like that. Okay. If we see one that just jumps out and looks perfect for us, regardless of gender, we'll go see like that. That would be a good one too. Oh, I play a Zealot in Dark Tide. Is my favorite character. Oh, a melee Zealot. Oh, that's a good idea too. I don't know. Let's just cruise down here and see what we see. Okay. Okay, that could be something like that. I like that. All right, more explorer leader. He looks a little bit more reputable. All right, he seems more the pirate sort. Don't have a problem with that. Okay, there we go. That could be us. Right, we got the staff there with the Aquila. I think I'm gonna go this because he's got a sword. See anybody else? Oh, that one's so cool. That one's pretty damn good too. I like that one too. If we were playing a female character, that wouldn't be a bad one either for us. Because I mean, there's no weapons. There's nothing to say what she does. But I think we're gonna go with this dude. We'll stick with our roll. It's already given us some a look here, right? We've got some augments. We've got a scar. We've got a cool hairdo. Yeah, I can live with that. Do I want to change anything? Do we want a tattoo? Oh, those are all face tattoos. Let me spin around here. Not feeling any of that. I mean, we could do something like that, but no. I mean, if we're going Death World, right? There's entirely good chance he's got something. Ooh, I kind of like that. It just says death. All right, that's it. There we go. There are a lot of options though. I guess that's just clicking through them. Oh, we can do both. Oh, we can have 5 tattoos, so we can do both arms. Okay. I'm okay with that. Let's just do Mortis on both arms. Yeah. All right, augmentations. He's got some augmentations already. He's got this metal chin. I'm not really. I mean, what if we go like a? We go for a full jaw. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that with the Psyker, maybe fewer augmentations is probably more. So if we go with that, and then, yeah, I think I'm gonna go without any. I'm gonna go no augmentations for that. Was the scar? Eyebrows, eyebrow colors. He doesn't have a beard in the picture. However, remember my comment about you can tell who the demographic is for a game based on the facial hair options of your male protagonist. This one is meant for adults. Right? It's just what it is. It's not meant for 12-year-olds. If they play it, great. You know, it's not. You know, we've got real beards here. See, and you know, we go full on. I kind of like this look here with the picture, so we're gonna stick with it. Actually, he does have some pretty serious tattoos on his chest in the picture, which I didn't give him. I don't see. Do we have some down here? Doesn't look like we actually have that option here, though. Okay, that's fine. All right.
Stand a chance. We have purified the battlefield of the enemy's taint.
And we did say we're going heresy, so
Arms.
maybe.
Ruinous favor prevails. Unleash the storm of macro cannons.
Curiosity sings in my veins.
Let chaos paint the stars red.
Engage the engines.
I'm going to go with pragmatic. I like pragmatic. Probably do a lot of pragmatic in these playthroughs. All right. So, we got a lot of options. We've got Death World. So, Death World gets us strength, it gets us agility, it gets us toughness. The negative is it gives us a negative to intelligence, which I think we want for both for operative, but also, you know, I think the Psyker gives us a bonus. So that's the negative. However, what it does give us, we got the strength, we get agility, we get toughness. That's good. Fellowship goes down. And we get survival instinct. Once per character, when wounds of a Death World character drop below 30%, they gain plus 20% of their maximum wounds as temporary wounds. Death World characters also gain a plus 20% bonus to dodge and armor, while they have at least one temporary wound from any source. So essentially, as soon as we get hit... hold on. Let me go back to here. Right-click so we can mouse over. So when they're wounds, regular wounds, so we can mouse over. I love this here. I love being able to mouse over all these. This is really well done. I do this in Pathfinder as well. It's excellent. So we come over here to temporary wounds. So additional wounds granted by certain effects and abilities. Let's see. When a character suffers damage in combat, temporary wounds are deducted first, followed by the character's regular. Okay. So when our character drops below 30%, we gain 20% of their maximum wounds as temporary wounds. All right. And then Death World characters gain 20% bonus to dodge. So as long as we have a temporary wound, so when we get down to 30%, we're going to get a bunch of health, and we're going to get a 20% bonus to dodge armor. Now, we might be able to get those temporary wounds in other ways as well, so I have to see that, because that's going to give us that. So, all right, and then down here, as far as talents that we could potentially... I don't know if we start with them or if we have to train them, but the ones we have, we've got Brutal Hunter, so we get a 15% critical hit chance against targets with the bleed effect or with 50% or less of their maximum wounds. All right, so more crit hit, right? We've got Wounded Beast. Every injury increases the Death World character's agility and willpower by 5. So as we get injured, as we do better. You know, our agility and our willpower goes up. And every trauma we get, here, let me right-click on here. There we go, tenacity. Once per combat, suffered stunned, blinded, or immobilized. This condition is ignored and gain 20% temporary wounds to the maximum. Again, this is going to give us more... it's going to give us temporary wounds, which can give us the other buff. Wounded Beast. This is the one I meant to click on. So, a trauma... if you receive 3 or more injuries, we don't heal them with a medikit, the injuries become trauma. So the number of injuries that cause a trauma may vary depending on the difficulty. Traumas reduce a character's resolve, but also inflict an additional negative effect depending on the particular trauma. So if we get 3 injuries that we don't heal, they become a trauma. However, we get full credit for those 3 injuries still for our agility and our willpower. So as we get injured, we get faster and well, more stubborn, really. And we have a lot of ways to kind of do that. So again, as we take damage, we're going to get these temporary hit points, which can give us bonuses. As we get injured, if we get stunned, blinded, immobilized, or traumas, all of those things are going to give us bonuses. We've got trusty weapons. So we get a 10% critical hit chance for axes, hammers, and las weapons. That might change it a little bit. I'll have to see. I wasn't really thinking or an axe or a hammer. I'm thinking more sword, but I do like everything else up to this point. Maybe we can. We'll have to look to see what... There's one of the Psyker classes or options gives you, you know, like a magic sword, so to speak. So that's kind of what I was thinking. But that doesn't mean we have to do that. I'm fine with axes, hammers, and maybe a las pistol for a backup weapon, for a holdout. You know what I'm saying? Lifetime of Scars. So Death World characters take toughness bonus less damage from flame, toxic, and bleeding. So any sort of fire, toxic, and bleed, right, we're going to take less based on whatever our toughness is. I believe it's our toughness divided by 5, round down, something like that is what our toughness bonus would be. All right, so we're thinking axe, hammer, and las weapons. Okay, now let's take a look. Fortune, if we look here for our Voidborn, this is somebody who's born on an actual ship. They can reroll failed attack, dodge, parry characteristic skill text with a 20% chance of success. So if you fail it, you get a 1 in 5 chance to out in the reroll. Assuming that that's, or whatever the actual percentage is, whichever is less, right? And enemy dodge or parry has a 20% chance to fail after successful roll. So they're going to get willpower, intelligence. Those would be good for us, I think, with the Psyker. We'll find out. Bloody mess, critical hit, 10% chance to double damage. That wouldn't be bad with operative, I don't think. Chance to survive after suffering lethal damage. Fellowship, Voidborn can use an intelligence bonus. Okay. So instead of our fellowship, we can use intelligence, which would allow us to use fellowship as a dump stat, essentially. Contagious luck, non-damaging ability on an ally grants that ally the ability to okay. So if we use a non-damaging ability on an ally, we can give them this, our fortune, essentially, right? Or yeah. And Jinx, Voidborn characters more than 50% wounds. All chances of all creatures, including enemies, in a 3-cell radius are increased by 10. Okay. So if we're at over half, we're easier to hit. Under half, we become harder to hit. Fair enough. Hive World. You know, if you happen to live in Hong Kong, stacked on top of New York, stacked on top of Tokyo, this is where you'd be. So this is a strength in numbers. Now, this one's not terrible, right? Because this gets us bonus if there's 3 or more creatures, allies, or enemies in a 3-cell radius. Now, we could generally probably make this happen, especially if we stick close to our Seneschal, because that's going to give us one other, right? And if we can get close to 2 characters, 2 bad guys, we're going to get this. But I'm not sure that's really what I want to do. So this one is about camaraderie. It's about fellowship. It's about outnumbering stuff. I'll just kind of mouse over these. If you want to read them, you can pause real quick. Forge World, this is kind of where the Mechanicus is. You know, this is the giant factory, planet-sized factories, you know, that they're doing this, which is cool, and I like this, and one day we'll do, I would love to do a Mechanicus. So, they don't get an ability here. None of these others got it, but Forge World is the first one that also has another choice here. They have a Forge World ability. So, notice they don't have a feature here. They still have their talent, so we got Pinnacle of Weaponry, so Plasma Melt and Power Weapons, right? Do more damage, right? Do additional damage equal to your intelligence bonus, right? So this is, you know, your intelligence boosts your weapon damage there, which is pretty cool. They get a toughness bonus on deflection against burning and flame. Let's see, stacking 10% bonus to hit chance and dodge against any target they hit with a single target attack. So if you're hitting with a single target attack, it's going to continue to give you bonuses and bonuses and bonuses as long as you can continue to hit these people with single target attacks. Steel of the Forge. If we're wearing heavy armor, we gain an additional movement point and a deflection. We can't fall prone. And then we've got calculated relations, which is going to give us a bonus. We use intelligence instead of fellowship again. So this is another one that kind of allows us to kind of treat fellowship as a dumb stat, which I think is a little bit of a, it's going to make more difficult playthroughs, I think, because the entire point of your character is to be in command and to control, you know, not just your tight crew, but an entire ship and an empire, right? And so I think fellowship, if we're thinking of this from a larger scale than just combat, you know, you would want to be somebody who has good fellowship, who can persuade people to go along, right? You're the boss, right? You need to keep them going. You need to, you know, whether they fear or whether they love you, they need to do one or the other, you know? So Forge World. So we've got some additional options here. We can come here, and you can see we can be from an analytics system. This is going to give us a 10 plus intelligence bonus to critical hit chance. That would work for us, right? With operative as well. Or we go for a locomotion system, and then we get an agility bonus to our movement points and to our dodge, or we can go for subskin armor, and we're getting an additional 5 plus 2 times our toughness bonus to our armor, which is pretty cool too. Imperial World again has a bunch of options for us. You know, this is just one of the worlds, one of the Imperial worlds that we're from. So that gives us humanity's finest. This can give us We can select any characteristic except for ballistic or weapon skill for a 10% bonus. We get ready to serve. We're hit by when an is affected by an ally's non-damaging ability or affects an ally with such an ability. The other one was when we did it to them. This goes either direction. Their resolve is increased. Imperial World character. Oh no, our resolve will be increased, right? Better to die for the Emperor, under 40% wounds. We get a 10% bonus to all characteristics and a +2 to resolve. No heresy. 10% critical hit chance, 10% armor against Xenos and demounted creatures. We gain half of the bonuses, and our allies gain half of those. However, we take negatives to our lore for Xenos and War. Doing my part. If nobody else has the same archetype as this, the first use of our abilities cost -1 AP less, which is pretty cool. And stronger together, all allies, excluding Xenos in the current party, gain 5, to the same characteristic as chosen by humanity's finest. So, and then we can kick over here, and we've got a bunch of worlds, so we can boost our strength, our toughness, our agility, our intelligence, our perception, our willpower, or our fellowship. It's a little bit like a little bit like some versions of Dungeons and Dragons, where humans just get a pick where their bonus goes, whereas an elf is +2 to Dex, and a dwarf would be to stamina. All I could think of was toughness. I'm like, that sort of thing, or half orcs would be a bonus to strength, but the people can just put their bonus wherever they want. Kind of the same thing. We can just take a +2 wherever we want it from one of the Imperial worlds. And we got Fortress World. This is kind of another one I was thinking about. So this is essentially a planet that's just embulked. It's involved in war, whether it's the war is there, or whether it's an entire planet that's essentially a training base. So never stop shooting. This would be our gun person, right? Mostly, right? So shooty stuff. +10 stacks never stop shooting at the start of their turn. There is a % chance of the first attack of this round will cost 0 AP and will not count. So as we get these stacks, so initially we're going to get 10% chance that the attack will cost 0 AP. 0 action points, and won't count towards our attack limit. So you're just going to get a free shot every now and then, which is great. And then whenever it triggers, we lose them, and we start over. We have to gain more stacks, which is fine. Combat Addict, +7 to ballistic, perception, willpower. Out of combat though, we take negatives to all that. Hail of Steel, which is going to be at least a negative of 1 to our bonus, right? Because we're going to get a bonus of 1 for every 5, so we're going to get more than that, which is going to make things a little interesting. So each round of Fortress World gains a stacking. Each round, Fortress World can get a +1 bonus to dodge and ranged attacks for each shot they made during this round. So we're going to get this, as we attack, we're going to get this bonus to our dodge and against ranged. So we're going to stay right kind of in that medium range, probably, where we're going to get targeted, right? So we can take advantage of those dodges, but also where we're going to be within a ranged shot, right? We don't want to be the one in back that they never shoot at, because otherwise this bonus doesn't help. Spare magazine, first reload costs 0 AP. And we get an additional 10 stacks that never stop shooting. So whenever we reload, we get another stack of that. Well, 10 stacks of that. Familiar kickback, Fortress World characters gain stacks that never stop shooting, equal to half the minimal damage of the most damaged ranged weapon they use this round. Okay, so half of the minimum damage for whatever range weapon we use that does the most damage, right? So if we shot with a pistol and it does 10, and we shot with a bolter and it does 20, as a minimum, then we would get half of that 20, which would be 10. So there's another way to continue to get stacks of Never Stop Shooting. And Never Stop Believing, when all stacks of Never Stop Shooting should be lost, they become willpower divided by 2 number of stacks instead. So when those stacks clear, for instance, we got that free attack, instead of going back to 0, we're going to have our willpower divided by 2. Interesting. Anyway, I think I'm going to stick with Death World. There's a negative to intelligence. There's a negative to fellowship, both of which I've said are something I want. We're going to want to look at maybe, axes, hammers, and las weapons. I think probably axe. But who knows? We'll have to see what we go to. So I think I'm still going Death World. We may change all this when we get to the end and we get to operative and I go, oh, well, that, there's something to be said for jumping all the way up to archetype, picking your class, and then coming back here and working your way back up to it, to make sure you're building towards what you want to build towards. All right, we've got an Astra Militarum commander, right? So you're essentially an army commander, and that's going to give you a feature called Regimental Tactics. You and all your allies do an additional 20 plus 2 times your perception bonus damage to enemies that are adjacent to the commander or their allies. So anybody that's adjacent to one of our characters, we get to do more damage to, but only once per combat, right? Yeah, and all commanders' allies also take no damage from other allies' attacks. So you can shoot in, which is actually, that's a pretty good perk, if I'm honest. Because it's easy to miss, right? You shoot in, you hit a miss, that bullet's going somewhere. It's easy. So if you're shooting against somebody who's adjacent, that's a big deal. So don't sleep on that as a bonus. They get ballistic skill, perception, athletics, medicae. Again, doesn't really interest me. Perception, more medics. They get suppression fire. That's what this one is, right? Regimental tactics. Okay, so while we're doing that, we get suppression fire. Single target melee ranged and area attacks gain 20% to dodge reduction, parry reduction, cover penetration. So makes it harder for them to hide for an attack, more or less, right? They get field of fire. Again, while we're under regimental tactics, all of our allies gain plus 5% to rate of fire for every attack they've made since the start of this effect. So every time they take a shot, they get an additional 5% to the rate of fire. I'm not sure how useful that is. I don't remember what the rate of fires are or how the rounding of that's going to work. All their allies for every attack. Is that for every... So every time one of the characters goes, does everybody get that bonus, or is it per character? Like, that character makes one attack, they get a 5% bonus. Or do the first character that attacks under regimental, which would assume be the guy that fired this off, us, that's going to add a plus 5% to everybody. And then he shoots again, they get another 5%. And then the next character shoots, and now they're up to 15. That might work well, depending, you'd have to get the order right to take best advantage of it, but that could be cool. Unflinching heroism. I use a heroic act. We gain plus 5 to all characters until the end of combat. Okay, not too bad. Timely rescue. While we're under regimental tactics, killing an enemy adjacent to any ally gives an ally an additional 10 momentum. Okay, so if we've used that and we start to kill those adjacent bad guys, we're going to get more momentum. Shoulder to shoulder. If we're adjacent to an ally, we get additional damage to all enemies. Okay. Commissar, this is another one I'd like to play, if for no other reason than, I don't know if you can see the hat. There's, right there, there's a servitor skull wearing my Commissar hat. It's actually an Italian police officer's cap, but it's the closest I could find. And right there's my bolter. Well, bolt pistol. Commissar, ruthless officers, they get at all costs. Our next single shot or single target melee attack applies the following effects. Enemy target, the target becomes marked. The ally who kills the marked target gets an additional turn after the current one with additional 2 AP and 4 MP. Okay, it's pretty cool. So we essentially, we do it, we attack one person, whoever kills it gets more stuff. All right. Allied target, all allies gain an additional, if we cast it on an ally, then all allies get an additional 1 AP and 3 MP for the next round. Okay, so we can either give additional points, action movement points to everybody, or we can essentially focus one bad guy, and whoever kills it's going to get another round. Fair enough. Weapon skill, fellowship, coercion, athletics. And Nate did not come up? Oh. I'm surprised. I just had a note from Steam saying a friend was playing something, and I don't think it popped up in the video. I didn't notice. There's a big Darktide update that hit yesterday or the day before as well, which I think is what we were talking about playing it, because I do have a surprising number of hours into Darktide. Let's see. Hold on. Can we see that? Let's go. I'm up to almost 100 hours in it, which really surprises me. It doesn't feel like I put that many hours into it, but apparently I have. Anyway, complete aside, but also Warhammer related. All right, so what do we get? We get duty and honor. When an ally is under the effect of at all costs, right? So if we were to cast on somebody, they suffer plus 50% damage, but they gain more AP and MP. So they're essentially acting recklessly. Show them contempt. We're adjacent to an enemy. All allies gain our fellowship and resolve, right? We're inspiring the troops, so to speak. Summary execution. If we kill a target with at all costs, they can use at all costs once more. All right, so if we put it on somebody to give it, right, because the idea was somebody else kills it, right, and they get a bonus. Well, if we kill it, then nobody gets the bonuses, right? It goes away. So it lets us get it back for one more time. So that's pretty cool. If we get additional movement points to any ally character, they get 2 more points, right? So if they were to do that and kill it, and they got the extra turn, they get more. Or if we were to give everybody action points and movement points, they get additional 2. And for the Emperor, momentum is less than 100 points. Killing an enemy a marked enemy or targeting an ally gets additional momentum. Okay. The music's going staticky. I don't know if it's on purpose or not. We'll find out. It happened when the change happened. We'll see if it changes. No, it's my headset. Hold on. Uno momento. All right, there we go. What happened was I think the battery died in the headsets and the sound switched back to the speakers, so I continue to hear it, but in here I got a weird staticky thing. So anyway, it's fixed. All right. Yes. Okay, so we looked at all that. Crime Lord, I would love to do a Crime Lord at some point. I think this is going to be another... I would like to do most of it. That's a good sign of character generation. When you look at your options and you're like, yes, I want to do that, and I want to do that, and I want to do that, and I want to do that. All right, so, again, Crime Lord, they get Surefire Plan. Crime Lord attacks. At start of combat, Crime Lord gains an intelligence bonus stacks of the Surefire Plan effect. Activation of this ability consumes 1 stack and makes the next action stronger depending. So if we attack, we do 10% plus perception bonus more damage. If we move, we gain additional to dodge and parry. And if we use a non-damaging ability on an enemy, the enemy suffers a minus 10 plus our intelligence bonus penalty to damage for 1 run. That's not bad. That would time well with Operative actually, because they have like this this kind of know your enemy ability. It might actually be called that. I don't remember. It gives you intelligence on the character, so you probably be using that a lot. So that's not too bad. And can be used multiple times per round because we've got our 10 stacks, right? Or however many stacks we have based on our intelligence bonus. We're going to get a weapon skill and a perception. We're going to get an awareness, and we're going to get an intelligence bonus. Perception and awareness bonuses. Killing plan. Bonus damage of a Surefire Plan is increased by 2 times our weapon skill bonus. Sorry about that. And if we kill an enemy with an attack, we get 1 of those stacks back. So we get it back if we kill somebody. Bonus to dodge and parry from Surefire Plan are increased by 2 times our agility bonus. If we do actually dodge or parry, we get it back. Contingency plan. If we have no stacks, we gain a stack. So if we don't have any, we get 1 back. Disoriented plan. An enemy affected by Surefire Plan also suffers 10 plus 2 times the perception bonus. Penalty to dodge and parry. Okay. And the last plan, if we have 1 stack of Surefire Plan, we don't die from lethal damage. We heal by 5 times whatever those Surefire Plan stacks are of our maximum wounds. Lose all stacks again. No longer get them for the rest of the turn. We've used them for that. Okay. Cool. Ministerian Priest. They get Warhammer. I'm just going to look at these main bonuses here because we're killing time here, and it's not really my intent to just go do that, but maybe we'll just mouse over them for you as we get them. The ability also, they get a momentum bonus equal to 2 times their willpower bonus. So it's going to be an all willpower character, right? We get an additional willpower momentum for each enemy that was within a 5-cell radius of the priest or was hit by us this turn. Okay, so we get a lot of momentum early on in a fight. We can charge in, be surrounded by people, pop this, get a bunch of momentum, and maybe do our big ultimate ability, right? That's entirely possible. We get toughness and willpower, litany of purification, Litany of Hatred, Emperor Protects. I would like to make this character. Shield of Faith, and Flensing Faith. Navy Officer, this would work perfect for us, right? We're about to command a ship, in theory, right? That's the whole storyline here. They get Brace for Impact. For 1 round, our officer and our allies in a 3-cell radius gain +2 deflection for each archetype taken by the Navy Officer. So that's not going to be a lot necessarily initially, right? We're just going to be a Navy Officer. It'll be +5. We take our advanced career, +10, and then there's a final one. I can't think what it's called. So potentially up to +15. The bonus of that, though, is all the other things that happen. So, right, so we will fire this, say, round 1, right? The officer and everybody that's in with that 3-cell radius. If we started with everybody in there, we're going to get our deflection, right? But then as we get these, we're going to get additional abilities as well. This works like some of the others. So in this case, we could, we don't get any of the negative effects, but melee superiority. Scatter, suffer half damage from attacks, get off me. Ranged weapons, we use any ranged weapon in threatened areas. Knock enemies prone and pushes them 1 cell away during the effect. Perfect timing. We would all get +3% to cover penetration, and we would permanently get a bonus to cover penetration. And then they also get an extra turn with 0 AP and 3 MP. So essentially they could shoot, and then they get a chance to scatter and find cover. Noble. This one's pretty cool, I think. You serve me. So you get 1 ally at the beginning of combat that you assign to be your servant in that combat. And then that character gets a bunch of bonuses. If they get really low at the end, you have the opportunity to pick a different servant if you've used that servant up, so to speak. So there you go. Noble's abilities affect the servant. They get a +5 to all characteristics till the start of the noble's next turn. And anytime the servant attacks a target that the noble deals damage to, they get an additional critical hit chance. Fellowship and Intelligence, Coercion, Persuasion. And you can see these all essentially give bonuses to that servant, and sometimes both the servant and the noble that you do. So, very cool. But I'm thinking Psyker. This is what I'm thinking. And I think this is the only one that gets an additional roll. All right, so similar to some of the homeworlds getting an additional one, we're going to choose kind of our class of Psyker after this. So, we're going to start with the Psyker. Psykers are... they're illegal, right? Unless they're sanctioned, right? So sanctioned means that they've essentially been collected at some point. They've been put through some sort of school controlled by the Adeptus Astra Telepathica, right? Thou shalt not suffer a Psyker to live, right? So we're going to be a sanctioned one. We're going to see both sanctioned and unsanctioned Psykers throughout our gameplay. So navigators, for instance, are sanctioned, right? So that's the background. You've essentially been captured and I won't say made a slave, but your freedom has been extensively curtailed due to the controls of being a Psyker. And some are just flat out slaves, depending on what you do, right? Anyway, so we've been found, we've been grabbed, we're now sanctioned. We have to we pull our power from the warp. The warp is essentially chaos incarnate. And so as you get this warp, it affects your mind, and it can cause terrible things to happen to you. And eventually Psykers all go insane and try to kill everybody. I mean, that's just kind of what happens, right? Which is why you're so dangerous. All right, so damaging Psyker powers count as a weapon attack, counting towards our normal attack limit per round and gaining all the abilities and talents, increasing the damage of attacks. So a soldier using run and gun will be able to use damaging Psyker powers twice per turn, and an operative's analyze enemies, that's what I was talking about earlier, will get our effects of damaging Psyker. So if we analyze, whatever the heck it's called, analyze enemies, those bonuses that we get for weapon attack will also get for a psionic attack. So sanctioned Psyker, we have 20% chance less to trigger psychic phenomena, and we start with a psi rating of 0. So if we click here, we'll see each time we use our psychic powers, the veil between real space and the warp degrades, which can trigger psychic phenomena. Psychic phenomena are more disconcerting than dangerous, intruding into the thoughts of people around the Psyker, causing omens and visions. Psychic phenomena reduce the momentum of the party, distracting them from combat, lowering their morale, or just causing bad luck. Psykers can be sanctioned or unsanctioned. Chances that sanctioned Psykers will cause it are halved, whilst unsanctioned Psykers instead have increased chances and +1 to their psi rating. So an unsanctioned one is more powerful, but they have a stronger chance of kicking off these psychic phenomena. So we're gonna get a bonus to toughness, willpower, lore, and carouse. So we made up for that willpower hit earlier. We haven't got intelligence back, but it is what it is. And we like to party. Self-medicating, right? Does that ring a bell for anybody? And we know more about the warp because, frankly, we live with the warp, right? So, and characteristic modifiers, we're going to get willpower and lore warp. So we are going to be, willpower is going to be important for us going forward. We'll see how that ties with operatives. That's my one worry about tying this psyker to an operative, is that willpower versus probably intelligence and perception. I don't remember for sure. So we'll see how easy it is to balance the requirements of both options, right? It's like kind of like you start kind of multi-classed in a sense for that. So abilities, we can divination. I think we all know what divination is, seeing into the future, right? We're gonna get insights, and I believe that's going to help us with potentially get some chat bonuses too, where because of divination, we get an extra option that maybe somebody else doesn't get because we see what's going on. Don't quote me on that. I might be remembering that wrong. Biomancy, so we're manipulating little living flesh and biological processes. We can heal wounds and alter physical characteristics. Pyromancy, it's fire. It's all about fire. It's always about fire. Burn it all, right? Telepathy, so we can contact and control the minds of others. I would assume this is going to be more of a crowd control type of class. And again, maybe this gets us some more bonuses within chat because we can read minds, maybe, right? I don't know. I'm just guessing on that. And then Santic powers, concentration of faith. Santic powers are used by pious psychers to protect allies and smite heretics. So if we want to go kind of full for the glory of the Emperor, this is that one. And we might. I think, kind of think I'm between pyromancy and Santic. But that's just based on what I was watching when I was watching Coz as he was mousing over stuff last night, much like I've been doing today. So we'll see. Talents we can boost our psi rating. Still mind. Our resolve is increased by our willpower while veil degradation is 10 or lower. Inscribed soul. We'll learn about these mechanics as we go. Inscribed soul. No AP, but it deals direct damage to the psyker equal to 25% of the psyker's maximum wounds. So doesn't cost any action points, but we're gonna take damage for it. The next psychic power used after this ability will not trigger a psychic phenomena or perils of the warp. It will not degrade the veil. So if you're right on the edge and you need to get that last shot off, instead of opening the veil, you can kind of tear open your own body a little bit instead of tearing open the veil and fire that thing off. Blade of Light, this is kind of what I was thinking of. It's a force weapon. Force weapon attacks deal +1 psi rating, 1 plus our psi rating, more damage, and have a 5 + 5 times our psi rating, more armor penetration. Okay, so it's just a force weapon. So if we can come up with a force axe or a force hammer, it doesn't have to be a sword. It's just a blade of light. This is kind of the one I was thinking of when I was thinking sword. So, but it looks like this works for just any force weapon. So that's kind of what I was thinking of. Sacred Rituals, psychic powers have a 25% chance to regain AP spent on psychic powers when veil degradation is 10 or lower. Enforced Reality, usage of a heroic act by a psyker decreases veil degradation by our intelligence bonus. Psychic Barrage, so we can kind of, when we use that heroic act, we kind of pull things back a little bit towards the safe zone, right? If we're going to go with us and we go a heavy psyker party, we could have potentially 3 psychers in the party, I think, pretty early. We could do some damage to the veil. It'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes. Whenever a psyker uses a damaging psychic power on targets that are 6 cells or farther away from the psyker, the targets suffer an additional ballistic skill bonus damage. Okay, so if we're using it on them and they're far away, we get a ballistic skill bonus for damage. Okay, fair enough. Stabilizing Factor. The first psychic power used each turn increases veil degradation by 2 points less. Okay, so if we just use 1 each turn, it's going to do a little bit less damage to the veil. If it reduces the veil to less than 0, it just goes down to 1. Okay, Second Sight. Psychic powers have a range of 2 cells or more have increased perception bonus. Have the range increased by perception. Okay, so if it's like a touch, like a close-up, it doesn't get it. But if it's something that is ranged at all, we're going to get an additional bit of that range based on our perception. Makes sense. Subtle Manipulation can use a damaging psychic power while being threatened by enemies in melee range without provoking attacks of opportunity. Non-damaging psychic powers do not provoke attacks of opportunity even without this. Oh wait, so we're going to want this early because I expect that we're going to be in melee combat. So we're going to want to beeline to subtle manipulation if we can, so that we can use those well in combat, because that's going to be an issue for us. An obscured threat, if we're not in a target's line of sight or we're in cover, all resistance tests of the Psyker suffer a -4 plus 4 times our psychic rating penalty. So initially our psychic rating is 0. It's just gonna be 4, right? So if they can't see us, they get less resistance because they don't know what's going on, right? If they can see us, they've hardened their mind for it, right? But when we sneak in unbeknownst, we get that additional bonus. Okay. Good to know. Subtle manipulation, Blade of Light. Those are the two I want to go for fairly quickly. All right, Sanctioned Psyker. So Biomancy. So the features of this, we've already seen that. We can heal wounds, alter characteristics. Iron Arm. We're going to get a bonus to strength and toughness until the end of combat. That's pretty good, especially if we're going like big force like axes and swords. That actually will help us quite a lot. I like that. We're going to get Enfeeble. All targets within an area. All targets, not all enemy targets. All targets within the area suffer a minus to their suffer a penalty to strength and agility, and an increase to incoming damage. So we could get into an area, cast that, and then they're all going to get hit a little bit harder. But so would if we had allies, they probably would as well. I'm guessing. Invigorate. We can restore wounds to our target. Looks like to any target. If this ability brings the target to full wounds, it will also remove stun, bleeding, fatigued. Okay, that's pretty good. So it's a good heal. Regeneration. Till the end of combat, the target recovers wounds at the beginning of each turn and removes toxic stun. Okay, so a hot. Oh, no, they're showing up. Tectonic Mumbles playing a little Zero Sievert. Really good if you like... I just spaced on what it's called now. I harass my friends that play it. I call it Russian Fortnite. You drop in, it's PvP, PvE, you gather your stuff, you have to escape. If you die, you lose all this stuff on you. Whatever it's called. Anyway, this is just a straight PvE version. It's top-down rather than first-person. Zero Sievert's an excellent game. We've got some videos on the channel for it. Splattercat's got a bunch as well, and has played it quite a lot on Twitch as well over the years. Anyway, good game. Metabolic Overcharge. Is that where I'm at now? Target ally immediately gains an extra turn with twice the number of their normal MP, and the Psyker psi rating AP. But their well, my psi rating's 0, so right now it'd just be movement. But their organism is subjected to severe stress. Okay, so we run them a little bit farther. They take some damage. Every round until the end of combat. So that's could potentially be a dangerous one. Warp speed. The target ally increases their movement point, and their agility, and their AP. That's pretty good. All right, so that's Biomancy. Those are abilities. Talents are going to be Adrenaline Surge. First turn, all psychic powers cost 1 less. Within Biomancy's cost 1 less action point. All the Psyker's attacks, including psychic powers. Now, poison. Ooh, I'm a big fan of poison builds. That might change things. Sanguine Siphon. Every time we deal damage, they gain a stack. Sanguine Siphon effect. If the damage was dealt to a target adjacent to the Psyker, remember we're planning on being melee, they gain 2 stacks instead. When the Psyker suffers lethal damage, the stacks of Sanguine Siphon are removed to reduce this damage by 1 for each stack until either all stacks are removed or the damage is no longer lethal. Ah, okay. Okay, so essentially it gives us a pool of health that we can draw upon if we were to take a critical hit. We pull all that back from them. Interesting. Corpus Conversion. When an enemy adjacent to an ally dies, that ally gains a stacking Corpus Conversion. If multiple allies are adjacent to the dead enemy, when a selected enemy. Okay. The Psyker's next psychic power that targets only the target with Corpus Conversion will work as if the Psyker's rating is 2 higher. All right, so if we kill an enemy adjacent to an ally, they get that that effect, the Corpus Conversion, and then we could heal them. Or we could give them these abilities to get some extra movement points or whatever, and it's going to work as if we're 2 points higher. It won't damage the Veil, won't trigger Psychic Phenomena or Perils, and will remove one stack from the target. Okay, that could be good, right? Because then we could use that to keep, like, say, our Seneschal or somebody like that up and running. So if we were to run this as more of a support healing character, that would be pretty cool. Pulse of Life. Whenever we heal themselves or their characters, the healing can critically heal with a chance 5 plus 2 times their willpower. The critical heal chance is increased by all the effects that increase critical hit chance, and the amount healed is increased by the same value as critical damage. Pretty good. So you can make a very good heal character with this. Deterioration. Whenever effect applied by the Psyker increases damage suffered by the target, the effect is increased by half. Okay. So if we're going to do more damage, we do even more damage. When the Psyker's allies or the Psyker themselves is under the effects of psychic powers, we get an additional 5 toughness. All right. Diviner. Now, I believe we have a character that's going to get this. I could be wrong on that. So, Divination. I'm gonna go a little bit quicker. This isn't what I'm planning on getting. Diviners find useful sights anywhere. Okay. Forewarning. Increases dodge, parry till the end of combat. Hold on. I'm just scrolling down here. In an area that lasts until the start of the Psyker's next turn, all allies in that area gain dodge. Okay. Perfect timing. All allies that are currently affected by any of our powers gain perfect timing. When an ally under this effect dodge or parries, if this ability has a weapon capable of reaching the attacker and has an attack that costs 1 or less AP, we can counterattack. All right. So we get a bonus to dodge and we get a counterattack. So for instance, if we put foreboding on them, we would get that. Prescience. We get a bonus to intelligence, perception, fellowship, and willpower till the end of combat. Precog. Once per round, our next turn is moved up by 2 turns in the round initiative sequence. Oh, so we go closer and closer to the front as we go. Okay. And that could get us 2 turns, right? Because if we're supposed to go, say, first or second in the next round, it'll move us up to the end of this round. Very cool. Prophetic Intervention. An ally suffers damage to make them fall unconscious. We gain an extra turn. We can restore their wounds. Okay. Edge of Fate. Beginning of every combat, we gain plus 15% critical hit chance. First critical hit removes it. Allies under at least one psychic power gain more armor penetration. Burst dodge attempt of every enemy in combat suffers a penalty. Every 9th successful dodge and or parry by the Psyker and their allies combined grants the Psyker plus 2 AP. Ah, okay. Dodge or parries by everybody added up, we get 2 more AP. Okay. Unnatural luck. We use divine psychic power on an ally. Without an unnatural luck effect, the ally gains unnatural luck. The ally suffers a critical hit, becomes a normal hit instead. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, Sanction. This is one of those I was thinking of. Pyromancer. Pyromancy obviously gives them fire. Ignite. Target suffers fire damage. We light them on fire. They suffer a bunch of damage based on our psychic rating. Again, it's going to be 1 initially till we get our psychic rating up. But as soon as we get psychic rating 1, all of a sudden it's 1 plus 5 times. It becomes 6, right? And then it becomes 11, and so on and so forth. Suffers from 1 to our willpower bonus plus 5 times our second, whatever our willpower is. Okay, so from 1 to, say, 5 plus that. And gains the Warp Burn effect. The attack has 5 times our psi rating, armor penetration. Again, we're not going to have any initially, but as soon as we get to 1, that'll start to be useful. Warp Burn is going to do damage. Our willpower bonus plus 2 times our psi rating. So initially, just our willpower bonus. To the end of, to the target to the end of their turn. At the end of their turn, with 5% times whatever armor penetration. Then they must pass an agility penalty to stop the burning. So if they don't make their agility test, they keep burning. All right. Firestorm. Psychic powers only... This psychic power only impacts creatures suffering from warp burn or burning. That's going to tie in well with our sister Battle, though, because she likes flamers, right? Or anybody will give a flamer to, right? So everyone adjacent to the target point suffers the effects of the Ignite psychic power. So we cast Firestorm on somebody that's already warp burn or burning, and everyone adjacent to that target also gets Ignite. So we light them all on fire. Orchestrate Flames does not stop burning and no longer makes tests. Oh, so they're just hosed. If it's an ally, every melee attack that ally makes inflicts burning damage on targets, while they themselves only suffer half. So we could cause one of our own party members to keep burning, but they would take half damage and they would cause burning damage to everybody else. That's risky. I like it though. In Flame, till the end of combat, all burning conditions will deal more damage. All burning creatures, not just enemies, in combat immediately suffer damage. Molten Beam deals double the damage of Ignite to all creatures. This is a really cool one. It's just a straight line. Laser fire burn. And Incinerate. Target suffers double the damage of Ignite psychic powers and half the fire damage of all burning creatures within line of sight of the target. So they take double damage of Ignite, but then half the fire damage of all burning. So if you got a bunch of people in, like say you did Molten Beam down a line and you lit 5 guys, that guy in back who's looking towards you, he would take double Ignite plus the damage of those 4 guys in front of him. Blazing Inferno, critical hit chance increases by +1% till the end of combat every time we deal damage. Backdraft. This one I think is more of a ranged one, if I'm honest. I think we're probably not going to do this one, but I do. Oh, it looks good though, right? Backdraft, one of the greatest movies of all time, right? I said earlier, burn it all. Right, here we go. Whenever psychic power is used to deal damage, a random enemy within 2 cells of the initial target suffers half the damage. Okay. Damage doesn't trigger. That damage does not trigger this town again, so you can't chain it. Relentless Blaze. If the Psyker's burning, our Psi rating's up by +1, and our Resolve is increased by 2. Oh. Damage from fire no longer reduces our momentum. Okay, so we light ourselves on fire and do cool stuff. Right, we light ourselves on fire and then maybe do Inflame? No, Orchestrate. I don't know if that would work on us. It doesn't say the Psyker or an eye, it just says the eye, so maybe not. Body of Flames. We get additional armor against fire damage, and half this amount is additional armor. So we could light ourselves on fire and just boost our own fire resistance, right? Okay. Yeah, and that's going to give us more Psi rating. It's going to increase our Resolve. And we're not going to take fire. Yeah, that looks good. Burning Blood. When you use a psychic power, all enemies adjacent to the Psyker suffer 4 times our Psi rating direct damage. This also happens when the Psyker suffers damage from burning, bleeding, or melee attacks. Fire from Within. When we kill or score a critical hit against 8 creatures in one combat, the Psyker's next attack will cost 0. Okay. I don't know how often that'll happen, but we'll see. All damage over time effects by the Psyker gain critical hit chance bonus. Increased by all bonuses that hit critical hit chance. Okay, and Melting Armor. Their armor is reduced by 3%. Cool. I think this was the one I was kind of thinking of. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking of Biomancer now, if I'm honest, but I don't really want to be a healer. All right. So, Word of the Emperor. All allies within a 5-cell radius gain 1 plus our Resolve, our Psi rating Resolve until the end of combat. Every additional stack increases Resolve bonus by +2. Purge Soul. Deal damage based on a bunch of stuff. It just deals direct damage. Yeah, there we go. It doesn't affect targets that lack souls. That's important to know. It's increased by 50% against Xenos, 100% against Chaos Worshippers or Drukhari, by 150% against demons, and by 50% if the enemy has already damaged the Psyker or any of the Psyker's allies this combat. So we could do 200% damage to, say, a Drukhari that's already hit one of our people. And it's going to be 1 plus our Psi rating +1, so it's going to be 2 now, times our Resolve. Oh, we got lots of brackets here. Psi rating +1's in 1. All right, so that'd be 2 times our Resolve divided by 4. So it should be, if they did their math correct, so it'd be 2 times our Resolve, let's say 5, right? That'd be 10 divided by 4, 2 point something rounded down to 2. To 4 plus our Psyker's rating +1 times Resolve divided by right. It could be left to right for, yeah, for stuff within, yeah. Direct damage. Damage increased, yeah, okay. So it's just a direct damage. Does it have a range? Doesn't say. I assume we can do it on anybody we can see, but I don't know that. Light of the Emperor. Enemies affected, allies affected are healed. Okay, so we do get a healing. Can only be used while there's at least one ally affected by Word of the Emperor. Oh, well, we're going to probably do that early on. We'll probably do that right away. Unless we're burning them off, we should be able to get this. All allies are healed. So this also has a lot of healing in it. They gain more deflection and armor. Okay. Hammer of the enemy. All allies affected by Word of the Emperor gain the Hammer of the Emperor. Next time they deal damage, the damage is increased by 5. Psychic power can only be used when they're... Okay, yeah. Sword of Faith. Psychic power costs 50 momentum and can only be used when momentum is 175 or higher. Until the end of combat, the weapon in the Psyker's hand is replaced by a sword made of sheer will. This is a sword rather than a sword of light. The sword has a single attack, target attack, has a single target attack and an area attack like a two-handed, and we used to release a cone of fire or a line of fire like a flamethrower. The damage of this sword is the same as that of Purge Soul. If a Psyker uses a force weapon, all bonuses from that force weapon remain. For the purposes and talents of other bonuses, the Sword of Faith counts as a force weapon. Okay, so we would still get our force weapon, our Sword of Light bonuses. Whoops, hold on. We got to right-click so we can read down on this. The power can be used again, increasing the damage of the sword by our Psyker's resolve. So we could use it more than once. So we use our force axe or force hammer. We put Sword of Light on it, and then we hit it with Sword of Faith. And we should get all our bonuses. Because we don't lose our bonuses. All bonuses from that force weapon remain. Right? So the bonus for it being a sword or an axe, we should still get it. Even though it's now a sword, because it was a force weapon, we should hang on to all bonuses. Not, I mean, that may just be the force weapon. You know, the bonuses it gets for being a force weapon as opposed to just bonuses. But it doesn't say that. It just says all bonuses from that force weapon remain. And it continues to count as a force weapon. Okay. And Telepath. Psychic Shriek. This might work well, actually. So that's going to do one creature within a 12 cell radius, I think, because this one has some interesting stuff, right? Target must pass a willpower, or they will spend all their movement points to move as close as possible toward the Psyker. They can act as normal, but all their movement points are spent. So they could come to me, and then I could hit them. At the end of the turn, the target must make a willpower, otherwise they remain in diseffect. Psychic Assault. We can do a Psychic Shriek to anyone within a 7-cell radius cone, and make them make a willpower. All targets that fail are stunned until the Psyker's next turn. So you could do this Psychic Assault, then move forward and smack people with a sword. Again, I think we get a Diviner and a Telepath in the party at some point. So I don't really want to double up on some of these. Mind Bond makes perception using either theirs or the Psyker's, which is higher. Okay. So we can share abilities. We all get the highest of whatever it is. Target makes a willpower resistance check. If it succeeds, it's blinded until the start. Oh, so even if it succeeds, it's still blind. If it fails, they become blinded and suffer a penalty to all characteristics. Reduced by blindness, must make a willpower at the end of each turn. The first success makes them just blinded. The second, okay. And Mind Rupture, they make a willpower. If they fail, that target immediately attacks its allies. After the target suffers damage from Psychic Shriek, and their willpower is reduced until the end of combat. If the test succeeds, the target Scream just suffers from Psychic Scream, and their willpower is reduced. Okay, so either they attack their own friends and take the damage, or they just take the damage. Oh, I don't know. Kind of thinking this. It gets us some healing. Gets us a little defense. You know, more deflection and armor. Now, it is just until the Psyker's next turn, right? That's not too bad. And I like this Light of the Emperor with the heal. We get the heal, we get Hammer of the Emperor, and we get Sword of Faith. I kind of like all of these. Did I look at these? Psyker's armor increases. It's good for us. First time momentum reaches 200. The Psyker gains 5 to all characteristics, +1 resolve, +1 deflection, +1 to all damage. Psi rating is increased by +1 until the end of combat every time an ally uses a heroic act. Oh, so as we get our momentum, we kick off we get additional bonus. That's pretty good. You know, some of these abilities are multiplicative based on our psi rating. They just suffer more damage for being next to us. Again, that helps with melee. Critical hits scored by anyone within our line of sight increase our critical damage. And our critical hit chance is increased by resolve. So we're going to do more crit regardless. Let's try this. All right, our triumph. This is kind of our background history, right? So we can Apex of Brilliance. Upon solving the mystery of a powerful psychically active Xeno artifact, you manage to destroy the creation of countless enemies of humanity. So we get +5 to our Xeno slur. Not terrible. Illustrious Glory. Single-handedly saved a pilgrim ship by stopping a warp breach while traveling through the Materium. That gets us more to Persuasion. That's pretty good, I think, just as an overall story thing. I like that. And Feat of Greatness. We crushed a demon. That gets us more Coercion. Persuasion or Coercion? I'm going to go Persuasion. Now, our Darkest Hour, this is kind of the opposite, right? Grim Portents. You were accused of being possessed by a warp entity and forced into exile, leaving your soul forever scarred. So it gives us a negative to our logic. I don't know that awareness is bad, too. We might come back and visit this after we check our class. We're only at an hour of recording, hour and 8 minutes at this point. I'm sorry, guys. Brand of Shame. Warp manifestation aboard a void ship, claiming thousands of lives in the end. Okay, so negative to awareness. Shadow Torment, Lore Warp. I think we could probably handle this because we can boost our Lore Warp pretty easily, I think. An error during the sanctioning process brought you many hours of agony, which I'm kind of thinking that's the least of our evils at the moment. So, Archetype. We can go Warrior, right? This is going to be kind of your melee Warrior class, right? We could do this pretty well with what we're doing, too. Now, if we go here, we can see that a Warrior can go on to become an Assassin, a Vanguard, an Arch-Militant, or an Exemplar. All those are very good. And I like these. And we might, because again, you know, we're thinking, you know, hammer and axes and stuff. Can we not arrow this down? There we go. So it's weapon skill, it's strength, it's toughness, it's agility. We get carouse, coercion, demolition, Medicaid. These are all pretty good. An officer, this is kind of your support class. I guess they can be Vanguard, Master Technician, Grand Strategist, and Exemplar. So they can give us abilities that help other people. This would combine, I think, really well with the Healer Psyker, where you stand back, you heal people, and you use these additional abilities to help everybody else. You're like the ultimate support class in back. I think that would work really well. Operative. Now, this is what I'm thinking. Now, we can go on to be an Assassin, a Bounty Hunter, also Grand Strategist, or an Exemplar. So this one gets us this Analyze Enemies, right? Which apparently I can't click on here. I can move up and down, but that seems weird. I think I should be able to click on all these. And then our why? I think this is this a bug? Well, let's go here. We'll see. Analyze enemies. One enemy within 10 cells. We target one enemy. They get 1 plus our intelligence bonus divided by 2 exploits. So we right click and we see what an exploit is. If we deal a target with an exploit stack, they get additional damage based on our perception, right? So in this case, we want intelligence and perception, and for other characters, and then we want willpower for the psyker. So we have three big abilities we have to try to boost here if we want to go this route. Okay, and then that goes up. At rank 2, we get skills. We get exposed weakness. Moves all exploits for the target to decrease their dodge, parry, and armor until the start of our next turn. So there's these. Dismantling attacks. 1 exploit on all enemies in combat. Then makes a free attack against a target that always hits. Now, we should be able to use a psychic attack on that. I don't know if we need to, because I think psychic attacks normally hit anyway. It's just whether they make a save. I don't know. I was really thinking operative for the crits. But I'm beginning to think more just straight warrior. Whoops. How do we... Oh, 2 archetypes. Now I'm kind of... Soldier is your ranged. You're running. This is a really good one, by the way. This is a really good one. Run and gun is amazing. Firearm mastery is amazing. Oh, now that's giving them to us. There we go. Now they're back. Yeah, so intelligence, perception, weapon skill, ballistic skill. We want weapon skill. Intelligence and perception obviously are part of that one, right? If we go warrior, weapon skill, strength, toughness, agility. Now we still need willpower. But that gets us charge, which will get us in close if that's with our power weapon if we want to. Doesn't count to the limit of our attacks per turn, right? So we can go in, hit something with a hammer, and then use 2 psychic abilities or whatever we wanted. You just have to have 2 spaces between you and them. Daring breach, immediately get all our AP and MP back. We don't lose MP after performing attacks. So we can attack, we can move someone, hit somebody, move, hit somebody, move somebody, right? And we have no limit on melee weapon attacks. So we can just beat the crap out of people with our big giant force hammer, sword of light, sword of the emperor, whatever it was. Oh. I went persuasion before, but this gets us coercion. Maybe we go back. Maybe we take warrior. Maybe we go warrior, assassin, exemplar, that route. Or arch militant. I was thinking operative assassin. I think warrior, assassin, exemplar. Maybe that. All right, but let's go back and let's boost this to coercion. One of these was coercion, right? Let's go here then, right? Let's boost something we're going to boost. Let's get it as far as we can. So Darkest Hour, I think I'm fine with my Lord of the Warp. I think I'm fine here. I'm going to go warrior. I'm going to go next. I don't know. We're going to want... We don't care about ballistic skill. We're going to want weapon skill. We're going to want willpower. It's good we can boost that. Let's go there. I'm going to go weapon skill. And... strength? I'm okay with that. Intelligence is hard, right? Because you get so many good intelligence rolls, right? Logic, Lord of the Imperium, Warp, Xenos, Medicaid, Tech Use, all of those, right? Strength is only athletics, right? As far as skills go, right? Athletics. So we've raised that. Weapon skills, obviously just weapon skill. We've gone for willpower, which is nothing here, right? There's not a single skill that's going to boost. So none of our skills here got boosted. Toughness, which is good we have, gets us carouse, right? We can party with everybody. Our fellowship sucks. So maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 5 off of this. I'm going to put it into fellowship and at least get it up a little bit. It's not good, but at least it's up a little bit, right? Because we are getting that bonus to coercion. And we're going to probably want to try to get that up a little bit. Do I want to pull more off something else? Willpower is so good for us. Can I take ballistic skill down? Will it let me? No. What do... Oh, we could add or subtract? Oh, we've used both of them. Yeah, we put both points into there. Whereas we put 1 into here, we put 2 into here, we put 1 into here. Do I want to bring that down to 35.2 and then put the bonus into fellowship? Or do I want to just see if we can do that later? I mean, we're going to be able to... Okay, so if we go back to our archetype here, and we click on warrior, right, we're going to be able to occasionally do other things. So we look, rank 1, get a charge. 2, we're going to get available skills, right? So that would be these skills: carouse, athletics, coercion, demolition, Medicaid. So we could boost those. Then we're going to endure, then we're going to get daring breach, then we're going to get talents. These are going to be talents, right? I believe. So available skills, then endure, then daring breach plus an available talent. One of those two, I guess. There's daring breach, whatever those are. I don't know. I'm going to stay at 30. I'm going to put it into weapon skill. I want to hit things with a big hammer. Yep, that's what we're going to do. Competence in all forms of close combat increases our parry against enemy attacks, dodge chance against melee, and it increases our chance of scoring a crit. All right. Now, I don't know how many of these are in the base game and how many of these are because I pre-ordered and got the... I don't know. I got some top pack for this. So I've got 3 options here. And maybe everybody gets 3 options. I don't know. I was thinking... Here, let's look. Wolfheart's playing. Good for you, Wolfheart. Let me know what you think if you see this, man. DLCs. Manage my 3 DLCs. Does it say what they are? No. Okay. I have... Oh, wait, so I've got the Void Fair and the Deluxe Pack. All right, so here, let's look here. Season Pass. Okay, so yeah. So in-game, I get a Trader Throne, whatever. I get potentially the Firestorm class frigate, a pet, a Blast Wave shotgun. I like that. A Wrath of St. Drusus chainsword. Maybe we should have made something to use that. And an auto pistol. Okay. So in fact, we do have this frigate class, whatever. Firestorm frigate class. So maybe we take that just because it's the bonus. I assume most people playing this game on YouTube bought one of these packs, but I don't know for sure. Invictum Erebus. I don't hate that. Unforgiven. Well, as a, somebody who sees himself as a bit of a cowboy, I like Unforgiven. And as a psyker, maybe? Daring Destiny. No. Destiny Hunter. No, those are dumb. Mercy of the Stars. Charybdis? Invictum Erebus. Is it just Seeker's Haven? Apex Predator. Atonement of the Abyss. That's it. That's what we're going with. All right, we got a Fire class frigate. Firestorm class. Modification of the Sword class. Designed to deliver fire strikes against larger enemy ships, not shying away from engagements of superior opponent. Okay. The Von Valencia's flagship might as well... Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get to that later. We're going to go with that. I don't know what that means, but it looks cool. All the ships look cool, to be fair. And our results. So this is going to be our character. Do I roll for a name? Yabez? Nathan? Abner? I kind of like Abner. Nothing sounds less scary than a name like Abner. It's like they know he's a psyker. They know all this, and so they just named him Abner. So nobody's scared that Abner is coming, right? They're like, ooh, Abner's on the way, look under your bed, Abner's going to get you, type of thing, right? I like that. Now, it is funny that our warp lore, despite the fact that we're a psyker, is so stinking low. We got that Shadow of the Torment. We did get a bonus by being a sanctioned psyker, which balanced that out. But yeah, the one thing we should know about, we don't. So we'll have to kind of see if it's worth putting points in that, because we've got other people in the party, in theory, that can do that. So this is going to be our character. I'm going to end this episode here, and then I'm going to play a little bit, and we'll get probably both episodes up maybe at the same time. So thanks for watching, guys. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Cheers.